My full name is Colleen Gauthier. I was born October 29th, 1950. I was born in Thunder Bay, Port Arthur now. Port Arthur back then, at St. Joseph's Hospital. So I've always lived in Schreiber, yes. 3 of my grandparents were born in Canada, and 1 was born in Glasgow, Scotland. In the 1800s, they were all born in the 1800s. We got married August 14th, 1971, and my spouse's name is Paul Gauthier. We met in high school when I was 16 years old. We have 2 girls. Nicole is 42 and Lynette is 39. We have 4 grandsons and 1 granddaughter. Yes, I did have an occupation. I was secretary at Holy Angel School and St. Martin's School for 20 years. I volunteered on many things actually over the years. I started out being at home when the girls were small, so I volunteered with Brownies and Guides and Schreiber Figure Skating Club and Catholic Women's League. And I volunteered with the Heritage Days for approximately 16, 17 years. And I also volunteered to be the chairperson for the 125th celebration that Schreiber had in the year 2010. Also, for almost probably 25 years, I volunteered for the Schreiber Winter Carnival. My husband and I both did the Pictionary for 25 years, and for a number of years I also volunteered to go in the neighborhood and collect for the April Cancer Month. Growing up in Schreiber was, back then was, we had lots of friends in our neighborhoods too. There was lots of children, so we played lots of outdoor games in the neighborhood. I fondly remember one playmate. She lived down the street from us on Main Street, and she had her whole back porch of her house was just every doll imaginable and every carriage and every stroller. So we woke up in the morning in the summer and had breakfast and ran to get the best doll. It was just wonderful. We played there lots in the summer, yes. And just outdoor games and winter, skating and going and watching hockey. I come from a family of 10, and I'm the youngest of 10. So, yeah. They're all quite a little bit older than I am. Mr. Garrity was, the place, his store was the best place to go. It was Garrity's drugstore back then. And I do believe, I'm pretty sure that it probably was originally a drugstore, and he might have had a druggist there at one time. Not in my day, but it was, it was just a place that we all went. I mean, he sat in the corner. He was quite a character, and I used to have to go in and get my brother to come home for supper, and he was in the pool hall, but women weren't allowed in the pool hall, so I had to stand back and tell him who I was coming to get. He wouldn't let me get past the door. And I remember the fountains. He had, a kind of a shop, great big stools where you sat, and they would, you would go in for soda drinks and that things, yeah. My father worked for the CPR. He was an engineer, so we had a pass, what we call a pass, so we could go on the train, and we would go to Thunder Bay to go shopping and go down to Southern Ontario where my mom was from, and it was just the most wonderful way to travel. I mean, we were always in the sleeping car, so I mean, we didn't have to, just sit up the whole time when we were going down to Southern Ontario. We'd be, you'd have breakfast, lunch, and supper on the train. Yeah, it was quite a nice way to travel. It was very nice. Well, I guess for fun, I would probably say, as children, the the fun part was going to hockey games. We'd spend a lot of time in the winter at the arena, public skating. And we also did, there was a few places in town that they had outdoor rinks, so we would go there after school and skate on outdoor rinks. In the summer, it was just playing in the neighborhood. I mean, we never really went up to Walker's Lake to swim or anything. I mean, we probably just stayed around the neighborhood. We didn't have a car, so it wasn't, we couldn't go out to the beach and things like that. So, yeah. Just the stories about Schreiber really come from, my parents, from the, I remember them talking a lot about the dairy farm. My grandparents owned a dairy farm, which was on the land that the rec center is on now, the arena is on. So my dad would talk a lot about working on the farm and delivering milk and coal. And I remember him really talking about people that his father would say, don't leave the milk unless they have the money to pay, but he said he always left it in case, because they had to have milk for their children. And so I remember that. I was very young. You know what? Actually, I wasn't even very young. I probably wasn't even born when they were running the farm. And so I was never a part of that, just seeing the pictures and hearing the stories about it. My oldest brother was 20 years older than I was, so there was a big, quite a big span. But just recently visiting my sister, she was talking about we all had nicknames, and I had never heard that before. I mean, our names were, I remember, of course, all of our real names, but I never knew that we all had nicknames. And I believe my uncle named every single one of us with a nickname, so they were all, very interesting. Mine was Mert. And the reason my name was Mert was because after my mother had 10, I was the 10th child, so they didn't have a name when they sent the announcement that I was born. They didn't have a name on the announcement, so my aunt and uncle from Southern Ontario sent it back with the name Myrtle on it. So they called me Mert from there on. I'm glad it was Mert, actually. And I just remember a few of them. One of my sisters was called Anna Banana, we used to call her a bit. And just different, very names that I never heard of, before. Until just recently. My mom, she was quite adamant about going. Once she moved from our family home to Collingwood, then she started to really take part in all the Chimo Club activities. She was very much a stay-at-home mom for a lot of years, but then she, once she got downtown, right close to it, then she went and played shuffleboard, and she had to go to the, for coffee and meet all the people. She quite enjoyed it. Things have changed in Schreiber a lot since I was a child, just with the technology, having the cell phones, having your own phone instead of having a chat, like a party line. Our phone number was 45W, so you knew you had a party line. Somebody else might be on the line and you would go to talk. The colored TVs, the laptops, the iPhones, all of the computer, the technology that's come from when we were children, and the children really actually use them a lot more, the technology and all the games, rather than playing outside like how we used to play outside. We didn't have the structured recreation. We did have hockey and figure skating, but we didn't have it so many days a week that you weren't out playing in the winter snow and tobogganing and doing all those just off the cuff winter and summer activities. Like I noticed such a difference with the population. There's not as many families with a lot of children, so the school population has dropped drastically. In our day, I mean, when we were in grade 7 and 8, both schools, Schreiber Public School and Holy Angel School, had lots of students, and it was not uncommon to have a class of 30 students in a classroom. Now it's very different. Teenagers now have more things to think about. They have more hurdles to cross with, the peer pressure and the drugs and alcohol that they have to, they have to be aware that it's out there and that it's, that it's not good, it's dangerous for them, and hope that they can have lots of other interests that keep them from that kind of life. Well, we used to always, even when our girls were small, the children would play hockey in the arena. The boys especially would play hockey in the arena, and then after hockey season was over, they were still on the street, with their hockey nets and just a neighborhood game of hockey. And I find now that there's not that many children, maybe not that many children in a neighborhood to gather around. Maybe they're spread out across the town, that they're not getting together, just doing their own, playing outside. They're more into games on the Xbox and the things like that. The families now, I mean, they're so busy. If you want your children in figure skating and hockey and things, it's always at different times. So I find the families don't have a chance to really sit down and have dinner together. Everybody's busy, going here, and mostly now in this day and age, both parents have to work, so that it's a busy life for them. So it's different than we were going home to your mom always there and having things ready for you, and because they didn't work out of the home back then. So and some of us in our day too, in my age, we didn't work a lot at the beginning, when we were first married and things, we didn't work. But so it's just different. It's different now than we'd sit around at the table and have suppers together. But I've noticed that the cell phone has brought some good. The children that have them, that need them to contact their parents when they, that's very good. But I find it's very different that you can be visiting someone, and they'll answer their phone, or they'll text while you're sitting there, or they'll check the Facebook as you're sitting there, and I think, I'm not sure this is a good thing. They have their good points about them, of course, with an emergency, but I think a lot of our era, what did we do without them back then? If it was an emergency, someone always got a hold of you, right? But yeah, but they are, I really do think they're addicted to them. Paul and I are both retired, so it's when you're retired and you have the time, then you see what else is out there that you can take time to, relax at dinner, go for, walks, hikes, go to the beach or go to the lake when because you have more free time, and how much we were enjoying the retired part of life. I have a few hobbies that I enjoy. I enjoy reading. I also enjoy watching hockey. I'm grew up in a hockey family, and so it never has left me. Actually, I would go and watch the hockey at the Schreiber Arena, and quite enjoyed it. And we like watching hockey on TV, and going for walks, and enjoying my home. Actually, I do quite enjoy our home, and working around the yard, and golfing. I'm starting to like golfing a little bit more, and I'm trying hard at it. I must say, I enjoy going to Terrace Bay. The golf course in Terrace Bay is very, very nice, and it's just a little bit of a hobby for me. Now, when I think about downtown, I think of Rosa Spadoni in the Spadoni store. It's been there forever, but Rosa had a ladies' shop on one side of the store, and her husband, and there was a man's side on the other side, and there was a division, a wall between them, and you could get around to both of them, but there was women's and men's, And Mrs. Spadoni would let us go upstairs, and that's where you tried all the dresses on. If you wanted to purchase any dresses, she'd take you upstairs to her home, and she had this beautiful, beautiful room. Her home was very nice, and she had a room that you go in and try all your dresses on that you were going to buy. And also, Mr. McGill, I forgot about him too. He had a store down, I believe today it's Superior Speech. And I remember mostly that he had shoes. He had lots of different things in there, but I remember shoes, and I remember that he looked very, very old way back then. Yes, we've enjoyed our life here. I mean, I enjoyed, growing up in a huge family and a big home, and always enjoyed school, elementary and high school, and was very ready to come back when I finished college, to come back and stay here for the rest of our life. It's changed a lot. It's it's quieter. It's there's not as much to offer that we had from before, but we still enjoy it. We have lots of friends and enjoy the area, the lake, and